lesson about ground rules too. I don't think generally in life you walk around thinking, here's a new group of people I'm going to get to know. Let's set ground rules for how we interact with each other.
Right.
But don't you think that's been really helpful?
Ground rules, which was awesome, because then we could reestablish and say this is right. And that was a huge takeaway from the meeting with Morrow, or the conference with Morrow, is again, establish those ground rules. Make sure that you do that on any meeting, any kind of.
For me, what I found most useful is the Being Me document. I really like looking at that document. I mean, I took time to write it. Now on days when I'm just like pissed off, I sit down and I actually reread that document, and it just puts me in a different frame of mind.
Well, just being in the team projects or the team group projects, where you can't really sit back on the sidelines. You have to force yourself to be out there, and you have to really figure out how to find your way within the group, what your role is. And so the Greg Cortopassi stuff at the very beginning was really helpful, understanding the different personalities and how they relate to each other, and then how you can work with each other and with different personalities. That was really helpful.
Also brings up the Jonathan Clark's amygdala hijack, and how that kind of the amygdala hijack thing can kind of play into the crucial conversation, and understanding that you're in that amygdala hijack, so you take that time out, but then still come back and have that crucial conversation.
Right.
That's so important.
Yes, yes. And the other thing about the Jonathan Clark that I found very useful is the picturing what you want out of life. Seeing what's in your life now, what components are working, what components are not working, and not just work, personal, home, every single aspect of your life, what you have going on, what's worth fighting for, what's worth getting rid of, and then truly envisioning your life the way you want it and starting to take steps to accomplish what you really want out of life.
Right. Of 2012, the Roaring Fork Valley experienced a number of intense spring storms. During one of these storms, which included some extremely high winds and very strong wind gusts, the Aspen Camp's challenge course was damaged beyond repair.
Lisa, the camp director, came to Roaring Fork leadership with a request to help get the ropes course rebuilt.
First, the team needed to define the scope of the project. That involved selecting the different low ropes elements that would ultimately be built. In order to ensure that the project met the needs of the camp, we not only developed a wish list of elements ourselves, but we solicited camp staff input.
We ultimately developed a plan which we presented to Lisa and the board. Incorporating their feedback and suggestions, we revised the plan, resulting in a final site plan.
Change from one of just a quick replacement of some stumps in the ground to let's look at what we can do now, and then let's look at the camp 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road. How can they expand their market share? How can they make more money for the important programs that they have in place by attracting additional audiences? And that really changed the scope of what we were doing.
Taking our scope, we went from building the low ropes elements to recognizing their future, moving it forward into this new brand, these new buildings, this new concept, and offering them kind of a brainstorming session, if you will, of options to utilize the camp.
I think it's rare in the nonprofit world to have so many hours of volunteerism go into a big project like this, and it's much appreciated.